David was a young shepherd. He lived in Bethlehem. He took care of his father's sheep. David was a good shepherd. He was also brave. He protected his sheep from lions and bears. One day, a prophet named Samuel came to David's house. God had told Samuel to anoint the next king of Israel. Samuel thought the next king would be one of David's older brothers, but God chose David. Samuel poured oil on David's head. This meant David was chosen by God to be king. David still had to wait to become king. He continued to take care of his sheep. He trusted God's plan. He knew God was with him. David learned to be a good leader while taking care of his sheep. The Israelites were at war with the Philistines. A giant named Goliath challenged the Israelites to a fight. Goliath was very tall and strong. He wore heavy armor and carried a huge spear. All the Israelite soldiers were afraid of him. David went to the battlefield with food for his brothers, who were soldiers. When David heard Goliath's challenge, he was not afraid. David knew that God was with him. He told King Saul he would fight Goliath. David took his sling and went out to meet Goliath. He did not wear armor or carry a sword. David put a stone in his sling and swung it with all his might. The stone hit Goliath in the forehead, and the giant fell down dead. David had defeated the giant with God's help. David's victory over Goliath made King Saul jealous. Saul saw David as a threat. He tried to kill David many times. David had to flee for his life. He lived as a fugitive for many years. Even though David was chased by Saul, he never stopped trusting God. He remained loyal to Saul. This showed David's true character. He was a man of courage and integrity. Through it all, David also became a great leader. He gained the respect of his men. He won many battles. He was known for his skill as a warrior and his wisdom in leading people. David's time on the run prepared him for his future role. It was a time of testing and refining. After Saul died, David became king. He ruled with wisdom and justice. He brought peace to the land. He defeated Israel's enemies. David wanted to build a temple for God's Ark of the Covenant. God made a special covenant or promise with David. He promised that David's descendants would rule over Israel forever. This was the beginning of the lineage leading to Jesus. David's life was not without its flaws. He made mistakes, but he always turned back to God. David's life is an example of God's love, forgiveness, and faithfulness. Even when David messed up, God remained faithful. He forgave David and continued to use him. David showed that God uses imperfect people to do amazing things. That is a message that still inspires us today.